We'll be repeating 3 trials with ethanol, but this time I've made some modifications to the setup. To avoid some heat loss, I've wrapped the can in a few layers of aluminum foil, and I've also created a lid. Additionally, I've raised the height of the fuel source. So instead of there being quite a large gap between them, I've reduced it to a much smaller gap. So those are the modifications that I've made for this particular setup. We'll be repeating the trials for ethanol and then comparing the 2 data sets to see if these adjustments have made a change in the numbers. Okay, so I'm going to start with 25 mils of water. I'm going to check the placement of my thermometer and make sure that it is in the water, but not touching the bottom. Okay. Then I'm going to place this. Let's see, if I don't want to put the lid on and have it cover up my initial temperature reading. So let's take a look and see what the initial temperature reading is on the thermometer. And we'll go ahead and record that in our data table. Now I'm going to place the lid on. Oh good, doesn't cover it up. I'll just place the lid on here. Okay, and now let's write down what the original mass is of the ethanol. So remember, it's in a little metal cup, and we won't worry about the mass of the metal cup at this time because we're going to weigh it before and after, and we'll be able to see how much fuel is in the cup. Okay, so let's get the before mass for ethanol. Great. Now I'm going to ignite it. I'm going to do it off to the side here just so I can reach it, and then I'll push it in. I'm done. There we go. And again, we are looking for the highest temperature that it reaches. We'll let the flame continue to go until it burns all the fuel in the dish. I see the temperature continuing to rise. So when it reaches its peak, we'll record that. Okay, looks like we've reached that highest temperature. So now I'm going to take some of this off here, and I'm going to take out the container. We'll put it back on the scale, get the mass of the empty container, and then I'll dump out the water. And put in some fresh water. Okay. For trial 2, let's add our water. And we'll take the initial temperature of that water. I see that the temperature is dropping, so let's give it a minute just to make sure that we're recording the lowest temperature. Okay, let's record the initial mass of the fuel. And then let's put the lid on and ignite the fuel. Remember that you are recording the highest temperature reached. And we'll let it go until all of the fuel burns away. Okay, the fuel has burned away. I see the temperature is continuing to rise. So let's wait until it reaches its peak. Okay, looks like we've reached the peak. So go ahead and record that in your data table. Let's measure the final mass of the tin. Put in some fresh water. All right, trial 3. Let's put in our water and measure the original temperature. Remember, it may be, yep, it is going down, so we'll wait just a moment until it reaches its lowest temperature. Okay, let's measure the initial mass of the dish with the fuel. All right, I'll put the lid on and ignite it. And we're looking for the highest temperature raised. All of the fuel has burned. When you see the highest temperature point, record that in your data table. And let's measure the mass of the empty tin. That concludes our 3 trials for ethanol with our adjustments to our setup.